So what's going on guys, Kate is here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best Gunslinger PVE build in Lost Ark. So in this guide I will show you what abilities and awakening skill you want to get. Then I will explain what are the best engravings and cards to use for endgame content. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay and even which stats you need to allocate for PvE, so you would be able to get the best results and highest damage possible and much more. So no matter how low or high level or gear score your character is, you can easily use this build and follow the step-by-step guide. So if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get straight into it. So the Gunslinger can swap to 3 different weapons in order to match any fight, which makes this class very powerful during the leveling and dungeon farming process. She has everything in her kit including mobility, single target and AoE damage. And as you have 3 different weapons with multiple abilities in each one, you can never run out of skills to use. And then at the end game we will be using the Peacemaker engraving, which will increase all of our weapon damage. This build very well synergizes with crit debuff from Spiral Tracker, Equilibrium and Dexter shot skills. And by rotating between these skills, we will keep your enemies debuffed. And at the same time, this will increase your entire party's damage and much more. So if you're looking for the best leveling, raiding, chaos dungeon or any other PvE content build, then this is the one for you. Okay, so now let's move over to the build itself, and these are the skills you want to have. And just before we start, you need to know that the Gunslinger has 16 different abilities in total, and you will be able to use all of them, but not every single ability should be upgraded. So in this build I will show you only the skills you want to upgrade, and then keep the rest of your weapon skills at level 1. So then for the first ability we have the quick step, and we want to use just 4 levels to unlock the life absorption, and then for your rune you want to get the rage. Then for the second ability we have the dual buckshot, and we use 10 levels to select in a tight spot, enhanced fire and final blow. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then for the next one we have the target down ability, and we use 10 more levels to unlock the quick aim, large magazine and steady aim. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then for the fourth ability we have the sharpshooter, and we use once again 10 levels to select the special bullet, in a tight spot and guardian's breath. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then for the next one we have the shotgun rapid fire skill, and this time we use just 4 levels to unlock in a tight spot. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. So then for one of the last abilities we have the Spiral Tracker, and we use 4 more levels to select the weakness exposure. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the conviction. Then for the 7th ability we have the Dexter shot, and for this ability we don't want to do anything besides just selecting the judgment rune. Then for the next ability we have the focus shot, and we want to use 10 levels to unlock the quick aim, double tap and final blow. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the gale wind. And then for the last and final ability we have the perfect shot, and we use our last 10 levels to select the stable stance, kill confirmation and enhanced stun. And then for your rune slot, this time you don't want to select anything. Then as well after level 50 for your awakening skill you want to get the high caliber HE bullet. But if you haven't reached level 50 yet, then here is a specific guide on which abilities you should upgrade first while leveling with the Gunslinger. And then on top of all this, focus on equipping as high item level gear as you can. And then at the end game you should have 1250 crit and 350 swiftness. But again, if you haven't reached this point yet, then try to have around 80% stats into crit and 20% stats into swiftness. Okay, so then the way I would recommend to upgrade this build is at level 50, you will get around 250 points. So this is how your build should look like. But then by doing more and more endgame content you will get more points. And at the absolute endgame, this is how your build should look like with all the 414 skill points. So at the start you use the 252 point build, and then by leveling up and completing quests you will get more points. So just keep on improving your skills and getting higher tier runes as well. So then let's move over to the engravings, and you want to get the Peacemaker. This engraving will provide extra attack speed for pistol mobility skills, and it will boost the damage of your shotgun and rifle skills. As well, this engraving only needs to be level 1, since additional levels offer very little damage increase. So then the second engraving is called the Hitmaster, and we want to use it because most of your skills don't have a positional attack modifiers. Then the next one is called the Adrenaline, and this engraving increases your crit rate, and it is easily stackable with the amount of gunslinger skills you will use. Then for the fourth engraving, you want to get the keen blunt weapon, because as our build has more than 70% crit rate, getting increased crit damage will come very handy to increase our overall damage. Then the next one is called the grudge, and this is more advanced engraving that is recommended for tier 3 content. This grudge is the most efficient engraving against mobs, and you will get your damage increased, but in return you will take 20% more damage. So when you get to the very endgame content, which is called the tier 3, then get this engraving, and before using it, get it to at least level 2, because at level 1 this engraving is not that efficient. And then for the last engraving we have the cursed doll, and this is a significant attack power increase at the cost of 25% healing penalty. This penalty can be offset by paying more attention on dodging red AoE circles and by using healing potions more often. So then in a quick summary, I would recommend to get the top 3 engravings first and then the bottom 3. And then last but not the least, let's move over to your cards. And you want to get the Shandy, Azena and Ainana, Nineveh, Vey, Baldur and Tyrane. In general, these cards are an endgame system for maximizing your character, so you don't have to get them right away, but these specific cards will optimize your damage output in PvE even more. I did bunch of testing for this build and this was the best and most optimized card set. Okay, so then moving over to the gameplay, and if you have played this class while leveling, you will be very familiar with the skills, so I will just try to give you a short description. So then for the first 3 abilities we have the Spiral Tracker, Equilibrium and Dexterous Shot, and these skills are used to deal damage and apply a debuff on the enemy, which will lower their crit resistance. Then the next 2 abilities called the Peacekeeper and Last Request are your main 2 counter-attack skills that will again do damage but throw your enemies in the air as well. Then whenever you need to move around the enemy or you just need more mobility in general, then use the next 3 skills called the Dexterous Shot, Quick Step and Summer Assault Shot. Then the next skill is called the Catastrophe, which is meant to stagger and stun your enemies in endgame dungeons. And then lastly, the rest of your skills are just pure damage abilities. So when you need more mobility or to fight close range, then use the pistol. And then for medium to long range DPS, use your shotgun and rifle skills. And then last but not the least, for your awakening skill, we have the high caliber HE bullet, which when using this ability, your character will quickly move behind the enemy and then shoot one single bullet that will do massive amounts of damage. So most of the time I use the skill when fighting a boss or above average mob. Okay, so then let's move over to the second gameplay part and let's see which is the best skill rotation to use. So at the beginning of the fight we want to use pistol, and if we need to reposition or to deal basic damage, then we use the Quick Step, Summer Assault Shot, Dexterous Shot or the Peacekeeper. And I would recommend to save your spacebar for cancelling long skill animations. So then the highest damage rotation is to use on the pistol either way the Spiral Tracker, Equilibrium or the Dexterous Shot. And then now we do damage by using the rifles, Target Down and Focus Shot. Then we switch to the shotgun and use the Dual Buckshot, Sharpshooter and Shotgun Rapid Fire. And then we switch back to the rifle once again and we finish it off with the Perfect Shot ability. So let's see what we did in this rotation. By using the pistols, one of the 4 skills called the Quick Step, Summer Assault Shot, Dexterous Shot or the Peacemaker, we applied a debuff to our enemies. And then in the next 6 to 12 seconds, we use our most valuable and less cooldown skills. So we would be able to maximize our damage in this rotation, and that's about it. So now in my last and final conclusions for this build, you want to swap to your pistol for mobility and debuffs. And then for pure damage, you want to use the shotgun and rifle depending on how close you are to the enemy. Then don't forget that you can use your spacebar to cancel the long animation skills, but only do this if you see that the enemy is about to deal big damage. And then as well, like I said, the Peacemaker and the Last Request are your main 2 counter-attack skills. And then lastly, remember that this build has way too many skills, and you don't have to use all of them for the maximum damage. So just keep in mind what each ability does and what it is meant for, and then just keep on doing the highest damage rotation, and depending on the fight, switch back and forth to your weapons to reposition or to deal damage, and that's about it. So I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback or other good Lost Ark PVE classes that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. If you are interested in the top 3 best PVE builds or instead the top 3 best PvP builds, then check the link in the description or just scroll through my channel. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I'll catch you in my next video, so take it easy, peace.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come